And let's take a look at what we're drinking today. So today we've got a special treat, a nice Napa Cab. 100% Cabernet Sauvignon from Laird Family Estates. This is their 2014 vintage. The winery itself is about halfway between Napa proper and Yountville along Dry Creek. I don't know particularly much about this wine, as in general I shy away from Cabernet Sauvignon, not because I have anything against it, it's just that my tastes have lent themselves more towards something a little spicier. Like Zinfandel is currently my #1 varietal, followed closely by Tempranillo. So we'll see how this tastes. I'm gonna get a bit of crystallization starting there on the cork. The official tasting notes read, opaque ruby color with a tinge of purple introduces developing aromas of blackberry jam, cranberry, and acacia flower. This medium-bodied red wine expresses flavors of ripe black plum, walnut, and cassis on the front of the palate, and is complemented by chewy tannins and juicy cherry on the finish. It is 100% Cabernet Sauvignon and is sourced from 3 different vineyards: Mast Ranch, Flat Rock Ranch, and Linda Vista Ranch. 14.8% alcohol by volume. It spends 21 months in 42% New French oak. Just a quick note before I dive into this. I was at a wine shop in downtown Saratoga, uncorked, yesterday, and was talking to the owner about my favorite types of wine, and I asked him to, based upon that, make a suggestion, and he handed me this bottle. So I'm really excited to see how it lines up with my palate. And right on the nose, got a very luscious character to it. Deep purple plum jumps right out at me. The wine's 14.8%, but I'm not really picking up a whole lot of alcohol fumes on the nose. There's plenty of fruit in there. I did ask if it would be a good idea to let this breathe before taking a taste or having a go right out of the bottle. The recommendation was that it's generally fine, but maybe 10-15 minutes to let it breathe would help it develop. I'm feeling a little impatient. It's a Friday. Gonna have some fun today. So, gonna go straight into it. First sip, I don't get anything jumping out immediately at me. It kind of blooms in the mid palate closer to the end. It was really shining on the finish. Maybe a little bit of prune character to that linger on my tongue. Almost a very light nut character to it, and unroasted, a raw nut rather. Is there perhaps walnut? Yeah, second sip, it's a little more subdued, more flavors jumping out in the mid palate. Definitely sticking with that deep red, purple fruits. It has kind of an oily viscosity to it, like a very light olive oil kind of taste. Not the flavor, but just that feeling. Yeah, it goes down incredibly smooth. Still some active tannins there. You could definitely take one of these bottles and lay it down for a little while longer and have the flavors develop. It's pretty drinkable as is. The fruit is still assertive. I can kind of pick up on how it's breaking down. It might be pretty, not necessarily peak per se, but within that window of peak drinkability. If you like less tannins, then maybe wait on it, but I'd say if just like a little bit of tannin, light acidity is what you're chasing in a Cab Sauv, especially a Napa Cab, this one's good to go right now. Take a look at the legs on the glass. And there's just a very soft lilt to the acidity. And very good balance between that and the tannins. Let's give this just like a little top off and see what the nose is going to be like. Yeah, wonderful character. A little more floral on second nosing. I'm gonna have to go around smelling more trees so that way I can kind of pick up on what genus that smell belongs to. Tasting it just now, the tannins are a lot more active. Getting more of a drying sensation. That could also be, about one glass in, the alcohol is starting to dry my mouth out. If you were to construct a trifecta of drinkability, balance, and flavor, this wine hits straight down the middle. It gives you a great punch. When it comes to Cabernet Sauvignon, I would definitely recommend this. It's a very excellent gateway into exploring the rest of what Napa has to offer. Price point on this, pretty reasonable, though it's a little more on the high end. If you have the extra coin in your pocket, definitely worth plopping it down for this and enjoying. Because that's what wine is all about. As such, now I'll close here by saying usually I would want to drink a little more of this, pop a cork in it, and then see what happens in a day with oxidization. But I'm probably going to share this with a friend or two, and it's going to be gone by nightfall. So I'm sorry. Given its structure, I'm going to go on a limb and say that tomorrow it's going to be holding its flavor pretty well. It might lose a little bit on the nose, but I think it's going to be one of those wines that you can open, have a glass, get to it the next day, still be enjoying it. Day 3, you might start to see some changes, but it would still be pretty good to go. That's all my theory. Feel free to test it on your own at home and let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching.